He was the kind of actor who didn't need to speak to be noticed. Yu Menglong's quiet presence, graceful posture, and almost fragile gentleness made him one of the most beloved faces of Chinese television. Fans called him the Prince of Period Dramas, a man who seemed untouched by scandal or fame. But one evening, his world went dark. His name stopped appearing in search results. Endorsements vanished. Every upcoming project was quietly canceled. And then came the 12-second clip. A man in a pink jacket walking through an empty art gallery before the screen turned black. No words, no sound, just silence. Within hours, it disappeared from every Chinese platform as if it had never existed. That was when the whispers began, of mental breakdowns, hidden power struggles, and an unspoken warning to anyone who tried to ask what really happened. The story of Yu Menglong isn't just about a missing actor. It's about the system that made him disappear and the fans who refused to forget him. Tonight, we trace his journey from fame to silence, peeling back the layers of rumors, censorship, and truth. Because in China's entertainment world, what you see is never the whole story. Before the silence, Yu Menglong was the embodiment of every director's dream. Born in Shanghai in 1988, he didn't enter show business through the usual glamorous gates. He studied film directing, not acting, and for years worked quietly behind the camera, directing music videos for other artists. His early projects revealed a soft, romantic eye, a sensitivity that would later define him as a performer. When he finally stepped into the spotlight, it wasn't fame he sought, it was expression. His breakout came in 2015 with the web drama Go Princess Go, a low-budget production that unexpectedly became a nationwide phenomenon. With his calm smile and elegant gestures, Yu stood out in a sea of louder, flashier stars. The industry called him a rare breed, humble, articulate, and without scandal. Viewers described him as someone who carried melancholy in his eyes, as if he understood pain even when playing lighthearted roles. Success followed swiftly. He was cast in Eternal Love, All Out of Love, and The Legend of Whitesnake, projects that cemented him as one of China's most recognizable actors. Brands rushed to sign him, his Weibo followers soared, and he became a symbol of what many called the return of the pure actor. But behind the perfection was a quiet distance. Yu Menglong rarely gave interviews, and when he did, his answers were brief, thoughtful, and often philosophical. He once said, "Fame is not light. Sometimes it blinds you." That remark, simple yet haunting, would later be quoted endlessly after his disappearance. While others built empires out of gossip and exposure, Yu built a career out of restraint. His image was clean, almost too clean, in an industry addicted to noise. He avoided variety shows, rarely appeared at award ceremonies, and refused to stage romantic publicity stunts, something unheard of in Chinese entertainment. Insiders said he preferred spending nights alone in his studio, editing short films no one ever saw. It was that quiet independence that drew people to him, and perhaps what made him a threat to those who preferred control. At his peak, Yu Menglong wasn't just an actor, he was a contradiction, a public figure who seemed uncomfortable with fame, a leading man who looked fragile but carried emotional gravity, and an artist who believed that stillness could be louder than words. For years, audiences admired him not for scandal or spectacle, but for the rare sense of calm he brought to an industry built on chaos. And yet, that calm would not last. Because in China's entertainment world, when someone refuses to play by the rules eventually play them. The higher Yu Menglong climbed, the quieter he became. And in an industry that thrives on noise, that silence was unsettling. By 2019, he had achieved what most young actors only dreamed of: a loyal fan base, high ratings, and the trust of major studios. But whispers had already started circulating within production circles. Some claimed he was too difficult, not because of arrogance, but because he refused to obey the unspoken rules of the business. Unlike other stars, Yu didn't curry favor with producers, attend late-night banquets, or maintain the carefully curated relationships that kept careers afloat. To those in power, that independence was dangerous. They called him uncooperative. Others said he was simply honest. But honesty in China's entertainment world can feel like defiance. The first cracks appeared after the legend of Whitesnake ended. Reporters noticed that Yu's name suddenly disappeared from promotion schedules. Contracts that had already been signed were postponed without reason. Around the same time, netizens noticed strange deletions from his social media accounts. Cryptic posts that had once seemed harmless were now gone. One particularly haunting post read, "Sometimes the light you chase is not sunlight, it's fire." Hours later, it vanished, along with several fan accounts that tried to repost it. Within days, rumors began to swell that Yu was being soft-banned, a quiet form of censorship where an actor's name and image are deliberately restricted by unseen forces. Still, Yu remained calm in public. He made no statements, issued no complaints, and continued attending small charity events far away from Beijing's media centers. But in private, people close to him spoke of a growing tension. He was reportedly frustrated by sudden rejections from networks and unexplained cancellations of appearances. One makeup artist described him as a man who knew something was wrong but wouldn't say it out loud. Around the same time, rumors connected him to disputes involving powerful figures in the industry. Individuals rumored to have close ties to regulators and major streaming platforms. None of this was ever proven, but the timing was too precise to ignore. Fans began to sense a pattern. His co-stars continued to work steadily, yet Yu's presence faded from every upcoming project. The media, once obsessed with his every move, stopped mentioning him entirely. Searches for his name returned fewer results each month. What's more, fan meetings and public events were abruptly canceled for security reasons. Behind the scenes, his management reportedly urged him to take a temporary break. But those who understood the industry knew what that phrase really meant: exile. The silence fed speculation. Some believed Yu had angered a major investor by rejecting a contract. Others thought he had refused an inappropriate request from a senior executive. A few conspiracy threads even claimed he had uncovered something darker: financial manipulation or exploitation hidden within production budgets. Though unverified, these theories reflected a deeper truth. In China's entertainment empire, control is everything. Actors who obey prosper, those who resist disappear. Then came the social media blackout. Around mid-2022, his verified accounts stopped posting altogether. The fan base that had once flooded every comment section with affection was suddenly directionless. Weibo threads discussing him were quietly locked or deleted. Even old interviews were removed from search engines, as if someone had decided to erase his digital existence. To his followers, it felt less like retirement and more like erasure. This was when a new phrase began circulating among his supporters: the silence of Yu Menglong. It wasn't an official scandal, yet everyone sensed that something was deeply wrong. The industry moved on, pretending nothing had happened. But for those who had watched him rise, the disappearance felt like punishment. Punishment for being different. Punishment for staying human in a place that demanded obedience. And then, 1 year later, something inexplicable appeared online. A faint, flickering video that reignited every theory, every suspicion, and every fear. It began like nothing at all, just a quiet clip that drifted across the internet late one night in early 2023. 12 seconds long, filmed in an art gallery inside Beijing's 798 Art Zone. The frame showed a tall man wearing a pale pink jacket, walking slowly under a shifting beam of light that turned from white to crimson. There was no dialogue, no music, only the faint hum of electricity. He didn't look at the camera, yet something about his measured pace felt deliberate, rehearsed, and heartbreakingly fragile. Within hours, fans recognized the figure instantly: Yu Menglong. The way he moved, the slope of his shoulders, even the subtle curve of his hand, unmistakable. But the clip disappeared almost as quickly as it appeared. Weibo accounts that shared it were suspended. Douyin videos were deleted. Even private messages containing the file returned an error message. Content violates platform guidelines. For a generation of fans who had been waiting months for any sign of him, this wasn't just a video, it was a signal. Some believed it was a form of digital art, a quiet statement about control and disappearance. Others thought it was a coded message, a final goodbye, or worse, a cry for help. People began analyzing the footage frame by frame. They noticed that the gallery walls reflected more than just light. They showed faint outlines of words, possibly projected text. A few frames seemed to spell out, "I see you," though others insisted it was just an illusion caused by shadows. The lighting, too, drew attention. The pink glow wasn't part of any known exhibition at 798 Art Zone. Several artists from the area later confirmed that no such installation existed at the time. That meant someone had staged it privately, without permission. Theories exploded. Some said Yu had directed the video himself and uploaded it using a proxy account, testing whether his digital presence could still slip past censorship. Others believed it was leaked footage from a project that was never supposed to see daylight. A smaller, darker theory suggested that the video wasn't recent at all, that it had been filmed before his disappearance and only released now as a warning to others. What made everything more haunting was the final moment. As the camera trembled slightly, Yu paused under the pink light, glanced downward, and the screen cut to black. The pink jacket itself became an icon. Fans recreated it, wore it to vigils, even painted murals in his image. To them, it symbolized defiance, a soft, human color in a world of forced uniformity. But to industry insiders, it was something else entirely, a reminder that even silence can become rebellion. No official source ever acknowledged the video. No one claimed authorship, and yet, in the weeks that followed, new rumors emerged claiming the clip had triggered an internal investigation at one of China's major streaming platforms, as though someone had crossed an invisible line. By the time spring came, the video was impossible to find, but its ghost lingered in memory, spreading through screenshots, whispered stories, and encrypted fan archives. Whether it was art or warning, no one could say for sure. All they knew was that for 12 seconds, Yu Menglong's shadow walked again, and then was gone, swallowed by the same silence that had taken him once before. After the pink jacket video vanished, Yu Menglong's name became taboo once again. What had started as fascination turned into collective unease. For months, not a single verified account mentioned him. Magazines that once featured him on every cover now avoided the subject entirely, as if acknowledging his existence had suddenly become dangerous. Yet behind closed doors, insiders whispered a more tragic story, one that had less to do with scandal and more to do with exhaustion. Several reports hinted that Yu had been struggling long before he disappeared. A lighting technician from one of his past dramas recalled that he often stayed alone on set after filming ended, sitting quietly under dim studio lights as everyone else packed up. He wasn't depressed in the dramatic sense, the man said, but he carried a kind of sadness that no one could reach. Another crew member described him as deeply reflective, someone who overthought everything, from the moral implications of his roles to the meaning of fame itself. That inner weight, they believed, became unbearable once the industry turned against him. Then came the rumors of mental strain. Anonymous Weibo posts claimed Yu had checked into a private clinic in Shanghai for emotional recovery. Others insisted he had left China altogether, traveling to Japan or Canada to live quietly under a new identity. None of this was confirmed, but the consistency of the whispers was striking. A few fan groups even tracked flight data, searching for names that matched his initials. They found nothing. It was as if he had dissolved into thin air. In 2024, a rumor surfaced that he had been spotted in Tokyo's Daikanyama district, wearing a mask and carrying a camera. A blurry photo circulated for 2 hours before being deleted by every platform. The man in the image looked thinner, more fragile, But the eyes, those unmistakable eyes, looked the same. Fans flooded private chat rooms, debating whether to share the image or protect his privacy. For many, the question wasn't, where is he, but does he want to be found? Some believed Yu's withdrawal was a conscious act of self-preservation. After years of being molded by image managers, commercial contracts, and hidden censorship, perhaps he had chosen silence as his final act of freedom. Others saw it as tragedy, a brilliant actor broken by an industry that devoured its own. There were even unverified claims from people claiming to be former colleagues, who said he had written letters expressing guilt for not speaking out about the exploitation he witnessed in show business. Those letters, if they ever existed, were never published. Psychologists who later commented on his case drew comparisons to other celebrities who had vanished from the public eye. They spoke about the crushing intersection of perfectionism and pressure, the way constant self-surveillance could destroy someone who lived for authenticity. Yu Menglong had once said in an interview, "When they tell you to smile every day, one day you forget what a real smile feels like." That line resurfaced online, shared like a prophecy. By the end of 2024, what remained of Yu's presence was fragmented. Quiet fan memorials, censored forums, and an unspoken grief among those who grew up watching his dramas. To the world, he had become a ghost, neither dead nor alive, but suspended somewhere between rumor and memory. And yet, even in absence, he refused to fade completely. Something about his story kept resurfacing, as if the truth itself was still trying to be heard. To understand what happened to Yu Menglong, one must first understand the machine that created him, and then erased him. China's entertainment industry, polished on the surface, hides a labyrinth of silent control underneath. Every script, interview, and image must pass through layers of approval. Success is never just about talent, it's about compliance. And in a world where silence is often safer than truth, Yu's quiet defiance made him vulnerable. He wasn't the first to fall into that invisible trap. Years before him, other names had already been swallowed by the same system. Godfrey Gao's sudden death on set was officially ruled an accident, yet many believed it revealed the cruelty of production culture. Xiao Renliang's so-called suicide left questions that were never answered. Yami Nam's story, a haunting echo from Hong Kong's golden era, showed how easily victims were forgotten once they stopped being profitable. Yu Menglong's case followed a chillingly similar pattern: disappear, delete, deny. It was a cycle designed not only to remove individuals, but to erase memory itself. In the entertainment world, there's an unspoken hierarchy: power at the top, image at the bottom. Artists like Yu exist in between, feeding the illusion of beauty while bearing the full weight of exploitation. To resist that structure, even quietly, is to invite destruction. Industry insiders have long said that soft banning is more brutal than official punishment. It leaves no paper trail, no closure, just silence. A name that cannot be mentioned becomes a warning to others: obey or vanish. For years, Yu was praised for being humble, genuine, and artistically driven. But those same traits became his undoing. He didn't belong to a powerful agency. He refused sponsorship deals that clashed with his values, and most dangerously, he was independent in thought. When the system senses independence, it moves to neutralize it, not through confrontation, but through absence. First, roles dry up, then appearances stop. Finally, algorithms bury your name under newer, more compliant faces. There are those who believe Yu Menglong didn't just fall victim to corporate politics, but to a larger culture of control, one that extends beyond entertainment into the very narrative of who can exist in the public eye. When a person disappears, the official story always sounds clean. But behind that story are choices: who is protected, who is sacrificed, and who is rewritten. Yu's disappearance might not have been a single act of censorship, but the slow suffocation of a voice that refused to echo the party line. And yet, for all the attempts to silence him, his story endures because it exposes something deeper: the cost of beauty, fame, and silence in a system that consumes its brightest stars. Fans who once admired his delicate performances now see him as a symbol of fragility in a place that demands perfection. Whether he lives quietly abroad or has retreated completely into anonymity, the message remains the same. In an industry built on control, truth itself becomes rebellion. You can delete a man's name from every platform, but you can't erase the questions he leaves behind. Yu Menglong's story reminds us that disappearance is never the end. It's the beginning of the world asking, what really happened? In the end, Yu Menglong's story feels less like a disappearance and more like a decision. A decision to step away from a world that demanded perfection and punished sincerity. Maybe he understood that silence was the only way to survive, that fading quietly was safer than being torn apart by the machinery he once served. To some, that choice was heartbreaking. To others, it was an act of resistance, a quiet rebellion in a world that fears honesty. Fans still revisit his dramas, searching for fragments of the man they lost, analyzing his expressions as if they might contain hidden messages. Each performance now feels heavier, more fragile, as if he was already saying goodbye long before he vanished. The tragedy of Yu Menglong isn't just about a missing actor, it's about how easily a system can turn human beings into disposable symbols. In a culture that prizes silence over truth, his absence has become louder than any speech. No official statement, no confirmation, no farewell, just a lingering question hanging in the digital void. Where is Yu Menglong? Maybe one day he will reappear, older, freer, and unrecognizable to the world that once claimed him. Or maybe he'll remain where he is, somewhere far from the spotlight, finally at peace. But no matter where he went, his story continues to haunt those who saw what the industry tried to erase. Because sometimes the most powerful statement an artist can make is not a performance, not a protest, but the choice to disappear. This is Criminal Tracks. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes the truth doesn't vanish, it just waits in silence.